Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Thursday edition of the Hawkeye session. This is Thursday, January 28th. We're getting near the end of the month. This is the last trading week of the month. Next week we'll be in a new month. So we always keep caution on the last week as the institutions start closing out their books for the month and start closing out all positions and taking profits and then opening up new positions for the new month. So just be aware of that. We have one red folder later on today. Most of the red folders that we saw, we'll take a look at it. We're pretty much in the early morning hours. But so it looks like it'd be a relatively uneventful trading day as far as red folder news and volatility with that regards. And with that, we will go to the charts. And we have a CAD yen trade. Let's get that one started. Take a look at that one.
Alert this morning.
We just came in. CAD yen, Aussie US, British US. Oh, wait, no, is that right? Yeah. CAD yen. Oh, no. That was earlier this morning. Oh, my mistake.
Oh, gold.
Yeah, and gold. Yeah, good old gold.
The Euro Swiss looks like it came in at 7:15.
Yeah, I've got that was 7:15. Okay, let's take a look at the Euro Swiss.
12:15 according to this.
And then we're gonna come back to the US yen. Let's take a look at the Euro Swiss. I don't think I looked at that one. Oh, I actually did look at that one, Euro Swiss, and that was pretty much of a no-go.
What's that?
We're in a scroll down. We're in a downtrend, up arrow, right up by the red.
Al, excuse me, we can't see your chart, hon.
Oh gosh, keep forgetting to push the other button. Thank you. What would I be without you, Eva? All right, we're okay. We have 3 red zones, 2 green zones, up arrow. Red zones say we're in a down. The 3 red zones say that we're in a downtrend. And move the arrow, move our down arrow over to identify where this last zone was. And I'll move that up a little bit here. And so right now I know we're in a downtrend, and there's the last red zone is right there by my arrow. I'm going to keep that, and I'm just going to lock that in there. But this is no trade. We're already at the zone, and it's going in the wrong direction. Now, if we get a bounce off of that, we may have some room to the downside, but we'll just have to wait on that one. I was looking at the US yen, and I saw something that I wanted to point out to you. And this was, as I was just scrolling through, you can see that I have my arrow right here. And remember, as I said earlier, I put my arrow in the direction of the trend right by the last red zone. And I can see from the last time I looked at this chart, there was a red zone right here, and we were in a downtrend. And you can see since 2 days ago, the trend switched directions. We went from a downtrend with red zones, and now all those red zones that were above it, we have 2 green zones, and we have 1 red zone right here, and we don't know where this thing's going. If it breaks through this red zone, it has some room to the upside on this 15-minute chart. So the question that we have to ask ourselves is that if it breaks through this zone, where's our next target? Where's the next zone going to be? So the best way I know to do that, right off the top of my head, is to go to a higher time frame. Now we're on a 15-minute chart. So if we go to say a 30-minute chart, and now we see that zone that it's sitting in it's that zone was developed all the way back. Let me get this out of the way. That zone was developed all the way back here at the, what day was that? That was back in on the 11th. That was about 2 weeks ago. So that's a significant zone. It's been there. It's just now being retested. So you want to make sure that it breaks through this before you look to where it's going to go up next. We still don't have a zone up ahead of us, so we'll go to another higher time frame. We'll go to the 1 hour, and now we see here's where the zones are, right in this area. So if it does break this zone, we're looking at the next higher time frame zone being right up. So I'm going to mark that to give us an idea, so that when here's the top of the zone right there, and we're going to mark the bottom of the next zone. And this is really this little gap. If this zone gets taken out, it's more than likely it's going to come on up to challenge this one. So this is really where our next target is going to be if it breaks that red zone, right about in there. So let's go back to our 15-minute chart, and we'll see, is there enough room to get our 20 pips? Because that's where that zone is. We're going to mark it on our 15-minute chart and just see if it breaks through the red zone, do we have our 20 pips? And I think we probably will, I'm going to guess. That's only 13 pips there. So again, if it breaks through, I could almost look that this could possibly be a head fake, because there's not going to be a lot. That's at 104.52. And
a lot of green under there.
And there's a lot of green underneath there. So, oh boy, where would 20 pips be? There's 20. Yeah, 20 pips is going to put you right in the middle of this upper red zone, but it's going to have, that's from the bottom. So even with that, it's going to be possible. It might be a tough, you might be able to get a few pips out of it, but just know that you have this zone. This is a zone that you're going to have to be looking at. And that's where you just have to kind of, you always want to know where your target is, how far away. I mean, it could have been 100 pips for all we know. I mean, it could have been a whole another gap like this. But you can see that this could be almost like a little head fake. It just said, oh, it broke the zone, I'm going to go for it because there's nothing up here. Well, yeah, there is. But you have to go to a higher time frame to find it. And the higher the time frame, the stronger the zone is. Just keep that in mind. If you're on a 1 minute chart, that zone's not going to be real strong. It's probably not going to be real thick. But the higher the time frame and the thicker the zone, the stronger the zone is going to be. That's just a little tidbit of information.
Little nugget.
A little nugget of information. And here's, let's see, this one. No, that's the US yen there. Did we just get a US yen alert?
I didn't hear anything come through on mine.
I'm seeing.
Nope, I don't see anything
okay,
yet.
all right. So here's our money zone. So let me get back onto the proper time frame. I'm back on 15-minute. Scroll out. And we know we're in an uptrend. We know that. And we know that that trend changed within the last couple of days. So the dollar's gotten significantly stronger to the yen.
Well, that's good that the U.S. got strong because it's been weak for so long.
It was real weak when the dollar was. Well, the dollar goes down, the stock market goes up, and everything that you think is right side up is really upside down. Any questions so far? Let's see, Brian's in the room. Good morning, Brian.
Morning, Brian.
Good morning. Sorry I'm late. Trying to get ready for class at the same time.
Well, you go to the principal's office and bring back an excuse slip for saying that, so we know that you're tardy.
Get a pink slip there. Give me a pink slip.
You're not allowed in the classroom until you go see the principal.
Hey, good morning.
Morning, Matt.
Good morning, Matt.
How's everything going?
Everything's going good. Guys, I put it in the chat box, our Telegram channel. If you're not already part of Hawkeye Telegram channel, I just put that in the chat box, that link there. Sorry to interrupt you, Matt. I was just
No, you're fine. How's the calculator coming?
I am adding more pairs, so I'll be done by the end of the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm looking forward to getting that. There was a couple of ones that weren't working, and I had to kind of back up to my original one and start it over.
Oh yeah, you need me to double check all the calculations, make sure they're all.
We will once we get it. Once we get that thing finished, I'll send it to you and Alan. Y'all can play around with it, see if there's anything that's doesn't look right.
Then we can lock all the cells except the
Right.
the
Lock
ones that you
everything
want
that
to.
we lock everything we need to lock up except for the things that they need to move.
Yeah, the inputs, and then it'll be good to go. Lots of people are asking for it because they've never. A lot of people have never heard of proper position sizing before.
Yeah, and that's
With currency
Are
pairs.
you guys going to add indices to that, Brian?
I don't. We could talk about that because that would come down to you guys telling me what the values would be.
And that'll come down to us trying to figure that out ourselves.
Yeah, I wouldn't know the values.
Yeah,
Whereas
actually, I think
you can.
I think it'd be good if we can do that. Maybe the three of us can work on that sometime today, or the four of us. Probably not you, Brian, since you've got school, but maybe Matt and Eva and I can get together. Maybe we can work on that to see if we can get the right proportions for the indices.
Yeah,
especially gold and the S&P 500, since those are some of the ones we have on our charts.
Yeah, there seems to be quite a number of people asking about the indices and gold trading.
Yeah, I do think I have it down for them, but I'd like to get your opinions about it. I worked on that the other day with I think it was Monique with Mo. I think I worked on that the other day. I think we came up with a solution. I just don't know if it's the right one.
Okay, well, we can.
I'd like to check that to make sure.
Y'all talk about it and y'all can figure that one out. We have somebody in the chat box said pound CAD. I haven't looked at pound CAD.
Pound CAD, is that on a 1 hour chart?
Doesn't say.
Might be.
Judson, are you looking at the 1 hour or the 15-minute?
All right. Here, I'm gonna send a message about the call today.
There's nothing on the 15. Let's see the 1 hour. Let's see if there's one on the 1 hour.
Judson is our newest member. Welcome, Judson. He was finally able to get the link to get him in here.
Oh.
I really like the pound CAD on the hour, but I have not got a arrow to.
Yeah, I don't have an arrow on that one either.
On the hour
maybe one on that.
It's definitely in an uptrend.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll make sure that when I switch it, change time frame, to make sure I change them back so I get the alerts on the 15th.
Yeah.
Lots of green folders, lots of green. I'm just going to mark that as an uptrend just in case we get another alert on that one.
And it's kind of the same picture as the 15-minute one. Lots of green, but on the recent two bounces off of demand, there's been no arrow up. So by theory of the strategy itself, it is a no-go. Now, that comes back to you determining, do you have something else that you follow outside? We don't in the room. We stick with bags for the most part, the number one strategy. I see some potential. But
yeah. Like we said earlier, let me just go over this again for anybody who may have come in late. We had on the US yen, we have a nice little zone right here on this. This is on the 15-minute chart. But up earlier, a couple of days ago, well, in fact, right here, you can see it right here. A couple of days ago, we had a down arrow, which means a couple of days ago, this was in the downtrend with a red zone right here. Because I try and put these arrows right next to the zone. When that zone goes away, and now we've seen having green zones above, this trend has changed. And you can see that now we have 6 green zones and just a single red zone. And again, if you see that, okay, well, if it gets to this red zone, we have a trade if we get an up arrow, and you think, well, and normal thinking would think that. The problem we run into is that where's the next zone? Because you don't see anything over here as far as you can see. It's the sky's the limit.
Right.
But if you put it onto a higher time frame, go to 1 hour chart, you see we've got 3 red zones. So this is the zone where it's at right now. If it breaks through this on the higher time frame, this is the next zone. This is where it's going to probably get a bounce. And if you break, but you can't, we're not allowed to take it unless we're in the right direction. This has changed. In fact, I'm going to put another up arrow in. but
And you don't know how long that trend's going to last.
you don't. And it could, the fact that it blew through some red zones here and probably a few other red zones. Here's another. So right now here we're in an uptrend.
See, I love this tool for the very reason that the simplicity of, okay, count the colors, that determines which direction you're going to be when you squash it down. But if you are really going to get spooked out and then you start making a mess, go to the 4 hour, you'll still see it's in the downtrend. Go
And
to
you can
daily,
see that,
it's
and you can, yeah, and you can see if you break through this zone, you only have 14 pips till you get to the next
Right.
zone. That's not going to be enough to take the trade. So, buyer beware. Now,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that higher time frame, buyer beware. At this point, buyer beware.
I'm gonna put the top of this zone here, and let's see if that's the same top of where the 15-minute zone is. Let's take a look and see. Okay, you see this zone's a little bit lower, so that's kind of a good thing. So if you get the break of this, we could probably, but you know that this is the top of the zone. So this could be a head fake in here. If it breaks through this, this could be a head fake because you know that this is the top of that higher time frame zone. So this would be a, I'm gonna make this one a blue line here. Let's see. Let's see, do I want to do it? I'll just leave it like it is. I don't want to confuse myself here. But here's where the zone is. We do have some strength, and we do have some strength to the, actually we have dollar strength. And, but just be careful. If you do decide to take this trade, if it breaks through based on the 15-minute chart, just know that you have, this is the top of this red zone. This is the top of it based on the 1 hour chart. And this is the next zone. And a lot of times it breaks through here, it'll go up and challenge us. But it's, I would say this was going to be, this would be your best target that you would get, and you just don't have enough room. And that's all I have to say about that. Any questions, any comments? See, people are showing up, people are waking up and coming into our room. We'd love seeing that. Let me see here. What else can we talk about? Any other questions? Any MT4 platform questions? Let's see, last alert that I see is at 12:46. That doesn't sound right.
12:46.
12:40. I'm looking at the 12:46 USGN. That's a lot. What's the last one that on my expert tab here? The last one I see up here was at 12:40. Say 12:45 ish. And if this is,
I don't know, mine's not even,
let's see
mine doesn't
here.
even show the US yen. It's not even popping up. You know how the window pops up when an alert comes through? Mine's not even popping up for me. I don't know why that is.
Maybe this is a different message. Oh, this is initialization message. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's not showing the, I thought these showed the, let me scroll down here a little bit. This must just be when I was opening up my charts. Maybe these aren't the alerts. Yeah, that was something else.
Yeah,
It was giving me another
Oh,
message
those
for
are,
something else.
yeah.
That's what that was. If you go to the experts tab, you can see where it has a lot of messages. I just noticed that basically you need to make sure you're looking at a message for where the alerts were.
Okay, so
It gives you other messages besides just the alerts.
I'm being told that the last alert was 4 minutes ago. It was New Zealand CAD. I don't think we have that chart. Isn't that the one where our broker?
My broker trades it. Yeah, but
I do think there was one that the broker that, yeah.
I think that's it. It's the New Zealand
LCMFX doesn't trade that currency pair.
That's why
So-
we didn't get that one.
So can you take over on that one, Matt? Do you get that with your broker?
Yeah. Give me a sec here. I'm just gonna.
I wonder why that is. That's odd that they wouldn't.
Not sure. Not sure at all.
It may just be one they just may have missed.
Who knows?
Well, we might have to send them a message and say, hey guys, what's up with that? Actually, we have a message in the Q&A from Charles as well that maybe we can look at after. He wants the 1 hour Euro Aussie and go back to Tuesday evening. There are a couple of down arrows.
Euro Aussie. We can do that while we're waiting to see.
Yeah. I'm just firing up my charts here. My computer's running a little bit extra slow today. Did we go over all of the news today, guys? Did we have anything?
Pretty much. Yeah, we had there's a red folder at 6:30. We had a couple red folders at 12:30 in the morning. 12:30.
Yeah. GDP around the U.S. Okay, I got that. Advanced GDP.
Yeah, here we have this one here. There's one at 6:30. Nothing real exciting during the daytime. A couple U.S. They don't ring any bells to me. The ones I really pay attention to are like the non-farm payroll report. That's probably the main one that banking holidays.
Yesterday we got a real pop when they announced the the market went kind of crazy.
On which pair was that? The U.S.
goodness. Remember the there was an event anyway yesterday. It was kind of a big deal, and all of a sudden the euro pairs go insane, and the euro got really, really strong.
Yeah, I guess that one's leaving me.
Oh, okay, that's okay.
So
it's all good. Anyway, I've.
Are you going to do the request for Charles, or
I sure am. No.
Yours is more like in the moment now, right? The New Zealand CAD. So we should.
We're going to do that.
That's also New Zealand CAD is also one that we got a swing trade notification yesterday, so I'm already short. Or the swing on that.
Oh, on the 1 hour?
1 hour chart, yeah.
Let me know when you're ready, Matt. I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, I'm just loading up my charts here. New Zealand CAD.
Actually, Ronald is saying that the New Zealand CAD is in the support zone.
Oh, good Lord. Look at this thing.
I
got lots of alerts on New Zealand CAD.
While we're waiting for that, the
all right, we're good.
Aussie. Are you ready to go? Okay, and we'll go back into take a look at that 1 hour.
Euro Aussie.
Euro Aussie. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing.
Yep. This will stop. Yeah.
We won't forget you, Charles.
Let's do that. We're gonna play on this side. Here we go. So New Zealand CAD.
Yeah, I'm seeing the same thing Ronald sees.
Let's go through here.
Fourth column, second one up.
Yeah. There we go. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're not going to want to go into that.
Very simple.
Super simple. You can't get no faster than that, right? You know you're not trading into this zone. You're only looking for out of this zone, but I mean, here you got red zones here anyway, so there's not going to be a trade here for a while. It's going to actually have to make these red zones disappear before you can take that. So
that was easy.
Yep, that was quick and easy. Here, I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay, let me go and keep an eye on the new alerts, and I'll go and we'll address this.
Euro.
1 hour Euro AUD.
Euro AUD and 1 hour, and I can see what he's talking about here. We have two down arrows. And it came right down and it created a zone. I mean, I'm going to guess his question is that one didn't work out. And I would agree. It didn't work out.
I think I was in that one.
Because in fact, I think I wasn't in this one, but this zone was not here. And looked like you had the target. So if you were looking at this, two down arrows, which gives you lots of confirmation that this thing's moving on down. This zone wasn't here. So even if you took it on the second arrow, you still had your 50 pips. There are 70 pips to the next zone. I would say that was a viable trade. It just that it reversed on you.
And once you hit that demand, you get out of it for a small loss.
Once you hit this demand and reverse back out again and it formed this, then you'd be wanting to be getting out. And now you've got the two up arrows. One thing you may want to look at too is that when you get these down and you have a clear shot down here, take a look over to the left to see where the next up arrow is, because that's probably going to give you an because this is an area where you could probably anticipate a bounce if you're going short. And there's at this point, I could see there was no reason not to go short on that. That looked like it was a good trade. Your stop was probably way up.
Which is what Charles's question is directly to you, Al. He's interested to know whether or not you would have taken that trade. Based on
would have I have taken that trade? I probably would have, because I would, as it follows the rules. Where
you don't know the picture. What it did look like on Tuesday? Where were the red bars? Where were the green bars? Because that green bar, that current one that he's sitting on, wasn't there yet. And you don't know.
Exactly, Brian. Because we don't know where these red bars were, because obviously as this came up, any red bars that were here, as giving you a little bit of a barrier behind you for your stop. Once these green bars, they're starting to take out those red bars. You could have had red bars all the way up here.
Yeah,
so
never know.
You don't know. So, and I think it was a reasonable expectation to take that trade to go short. Again, they're not all going to work out. One thing you may have been able to do is, if you're on a 1 hour chart, look on the lower time frame and see if there's a lower time frame zone here, and that may have given you a little bit of a clue. You might have a little bit of a bounce.
Yeah, Charles.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead,
I took that trade short, actually, and I took it on a lower time frame, and I got stopped out. So at a 40 pip stop loss, because I wasn't watching the trade, so I never noticed that zone was in there. Now I did take it on a 15-minute chart, but this is part of the reality that it's not going to be 100%. What did it look like on the 15-minute chart, Al?
Okay, let's take a look.
It looks very similar.
Right. So before that,
let me mark the area. Let me go back to the market with the.
Yeah.
This is the down arrow.
Because we had two down arrows. It was really strong downtrend. It looked like it was going to continue going down. Everything looked really good, and then it popped up.
Yeah. So like right over here.
I think I would have taken it short too, because you don't know. Hindsight's easy, but that
absolutely
was not there.
This goes a little bit to what Mo was saying yesterday about the peekaboo. Is that when you, especially if you're on a 1 hour chart, find out where the 15-minute zones are, because you're probably going to have to have a little bit of a bounce on that. Now, if you look and scrunch this up a little bit, and you can see that we had this is kind of, you had two strong arrows, and there was reasonable. I mean, even like with this one, there's reasonable expectation. You probably would have gotten your 20 pips on this, maybe. Let's see. Roughly to there. Yeah, that's a 41 pip move. So now you had an arrow right around this part, so you actually gave up a little bit of that. But if you were going for 20 pips, I don't know if you were 20 pips up on this one or not. You may have been. Let's see here. Let's say you got in right in this area to there. There's 31 pips. It looks like you probably would have gotten, you probably would have been right about 16 pips. You probably were about 15, 16 pips profitable before this thing reversed on you. But that would be one thing to do if you are taking 1 hour swing trades and using those kind of stops. You may want to just scale down to scroll into a 15-minute chart and find out where those other zones are, because that may give you a clue that if it can't get through those, then you may think that maybe you're near the end of that move. That'd just be a little technique that you could possibly use to help give you a little bit of insight of what's to come. You start getting down into 1 minute chart, you're really getting into a point where you're starting to play with. I like the 1 minute chart. I think it's a real valuable thing to do, but just be aware that it starts playing with your head a little bit, because you're looking at these. They look like really huge moves, and they're only a couple pips.
Yeah, the micro moves and the scaling, the scaling really plays with you, because you're so used to 15 or 1 hour, and then you look and you see these big candlesticks. It can throw you off, because there's no the candles are going to look similar on the 15-minute as they do on the 1 minute. If you got rid of scale, it's very hard to tell. scale in price and time, you got rid of that, it's very hard to tell between a 30-minute chart and a 1-minute chart, depending on how you zoom in and out. So,
And my guess is that here where you have these these green zones now, they were probably all red zones before.
yes, they were. They were all red zones, actually.
And you can see, and you can see that, yeah, and you can see that they're just, I mean, now if you get an up arrow up here, now the question would be, well, where's your next target going to be? This is where I said to scale into a higher time frame. Let's go to a 1 hour chart. And now we can see that, okay, if we get an arrow, if we got a 15-minute arrow, we know that the zone is going to be, at least there's going to be, there's at least going to be a zone up here, up in this area. And we're going to mark that off just so that we know, because like I said, at least, because I said, now we're on back to our 15-minute alert. Well, now we know there's something right here. And then if we get an up arrow, we know that then we can just automatically measure to see if, and keep in mind, remember we said if you get 2 consecutive up arrows, you usually don't get the third. So right now this thing's still in an uptrend, and that's still another 83 pips away. So if you're in this trade, you could just be following this moving average right along up until you get a break below and close below the moving average. If you're lucky enough to get into this. And even with that down move, if you're still on the charts at the time, you get the bounce arrow go, knowing that it could be reversing, you get out and you may want to reverse the position. Especially when you start seeing this moving average on this nice 45-degree incline, and everything stays above that. That's a nice little trend to be able to catch. And you'll catch those early in the London session. Like even here is the overnight high and low. Here's our money zone right here. This is the beginning of the money zone from last night. And you can see that just London opened up and just keeps on going. Now you're getting a little bit of a pullback here. So right now this is the high for the day so far from the London New York session.
Are you looking at 1 hour charts at all, Al?
Generally no, but I have been looking at them this morning because I'm seeing arrows with no zones above it, so I'm going to the higher time frame just to find
Yeah, we just had a pound yen buy. I didn't know you were watching.
Why am I not getting my alerts here?
Because it's that's the 1 hour. Is that on the 1 hour, Brian?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, that's why I'm not getting it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I have
take a look at the pound yen.
Yeah, with my setup, I have a whole set of arrow on 1 hour, and then I have to go to another platform and got all the sets on 15 minutes. So I'm not having to. I'm getting both signals. Really nice.
Okay, so let's go to the let's see. You say you got let's go to the 1 hour chart, see where the
Pound
signal
yen.
is. Okay, pound yen. There's our arrow. We're going to scroll in, see what we got here. All right, on the 1 hour chart, we're definitely in an uptrend on the 1 hour. So let me go uptrend, arrow up. I'm going to put it right here where the zone is. I'm going to go to a 15-minute and see what it looks like on a 15-minute. So if we get a break, now we have this zone right here, so we really can't do anything right now. We did get a down arrow. Let's take a look and see what that one would have given us. But we're in an uptrend, so we can't take the down arrow. I'm going to put another arrow up top here.
Now, Brian, you use the 1 hour chart for swing trades, right?
Yeah, for swing. So it's a 100 pip stop, 50 pip target. It doesn't take a lot of time. That's my whole.
We're so for operandi.
Yeah.
Get it in and go teach some kids.
Yeah, it has to conform to my schedule in order for me to do it. That's why I use Gearbox so much.
Now I know that this is a 1 hour zone. This is a 15-minute zone right there. But if we had so let's say we, like here was the trade that you had, because this zone wasn't here. Here was the target. Now the question is, would you have enough room on a 15-minute chart? Here's a bounce arrow. Now the go would be, actually the go was way up above, probably. Let's see. I'm going to guess it's probably right back up to where this zone we had. So if let's just take a look at this one right here.
And you're on a 15-minute though, right?
I'm on a 15-minute, but we're talking about, like, this would be yesterday basically. Here's where the up arrow was on the 15-minute. We had a bounce zone, bounce arrow, go. This wasn't here. So where was the expectation off of this chart? Where's the expectation? Where's our target? Because I said, if you take a trade, you need to know where your target's going to be. And so the only way you really know where that's going to be is looking to the left of the chart and see where the next zone was to the left. And most of the time, a lot of times, if you're not seeing it here, it's probably on a higher time frame. So I'll go to 1 hour chart on this one and see if I can find, there's still no zone there. Let's go to a 4 hour chart. And here's where my arrow was. And you can see on a 4 hour chart, here's a 4 hour zone. And so you got that arrow, but you got the arrow right up into a higher time frame demand zone or supply zone. And if that zone was there, created way back, let me see if I can pull it over here. That zone was, can I do this?
May not let you go all the way over there, will it?
It doesn't want to scroll,
What if you
Pan
out?
Squish the bottom.
Squish the bottom.
Your number's on the bottom. There you go. Usually you can see.
Oh, there we go. You can see this getting all the way over at August 27th. So right now it's making a high.
You need a new phrase. Squish the bottom doesn't sound a whole really very professional.
Right up there with kill the man.
Oh, hey, now I know that I can squish the bottom. That's good. I didn't want to do that. Okay, but you can see that this zone was created all the way back here in August 12th. Now, I mean, and you've got, so if this price hasn't been hit since last August, it's probably a pretty strong zone, because look at the move on this. That's the new term, squish the bottom.
Squish the bottom.
Did you see what
Judson says, what will HR say about this?
I
can't say.
I am HR, so it's all good.
I can't say it in school. I can promise you that.
A very technical term.
Yeah.
So
hey, I'm gone for like a couple minutes, and you guys are already going.
So we got a party going on now, Matt.
Come on.
We've been squishing the bottom.
God, this is, wow. This I feel like I'm a new person with this thing now.
Oh, good Lord.
So, but this is where. So right now, I'm going to just mark this here, this zone. So I mean, that's why I say you need to know where your target is. You have to know where your target is. You have to know where your stop needs to be. So I'm just going to put this right here. I'm going to just put these two lines right over around here. There we go. And now I'm going to go back to my 15-minute chart. Go back to my 15-minute chart. Here is our up arrow. And as I scroll down, you can see this is where the zone is. So, I mean, this wasn't here, but when you had this alert, you know that the next zone is right. And look where this thing was created. So now the question is, did we have 20 pips? Now you have to figure out, do I have 20 pips to that new zone that we've just created? Well, there's 27 pips. That was a reasonable trade.
Yeah. So here's what you could do. You would not see that, if you're not doing multiple time frame analysis and you did not see that 4 hour zone up there, you could still take that trade, go for your 20 pips. And as soon as that red supply area was created, you close out your trade still for a profit. It wouldn't be your full 20, obviously, right, but you could still get out before break even. Because of the opposite.
Because more than likely, this zone is created off of this candle.
Correct. And so you would just be taking a smaller profit.
Yeah, but it still would have been a valid trade. You would have been able to, worst case scenario, you could have said, okay, well, at least I've gotten 7 pips out of it. If you were here watching the trade. Now you're probably talking the middle of the night or late at night.
That's 18, right? That's 18 pips, is it?
Oh, no, I think it's 7. I think this is 7 from this candle here.
Yeah.
over here. Here's the open.
That's the pound yen, man. 14?
I'm seeing 6.
6.6.
Well, 142.71 to 142.64. So 164 to 71, 7 pips.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, I was looking at the first number there.
Yeah, but you still could have. It's still, but I mean, my thinking would be is that if I'm in a trade and I see this little doji up here.
Oh yeah, yeah. Goodness
goes up,
gracious.
comes back down. Here's the doji. I would probably be thinking about getting out right there, knowing that I'm so close to my 20 pips anyway.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting there watching. Now here's the problem that I have is that I don't take trades that I can't sleep at night. And that's over 15 pips. So if I'm in that trade and I'm overnight, I'm just going to let it take my stop or hit my target, or I'm going to get out before I go to bed. That's what I do, because I either accept the trade that it is by not looking at it, or I try to manage it before. If I'm not comfortable with that, then I manage it and close it out before I leave or go to bed or whatever I'm going to be doing. That's what I do.
That makes sense.
So I've got a question here from Charles. He's saying that the Aussie looks really, really weak across all the pairs. Has there been any news for Aussie in the last few days? Personally, I don't remember.
It's a Biden effect.
The Aussie is relatively weak by all the pairs, and I'll show you why I'm saying that.
Doesn't have anything to do with natural resources.
It's a Biden effect. Your Keystone, your China, plus the Aussie government. I track what the central government's talking about. They are currently overpriced. They don't want it that high because of their export-import numbers. Now, there's no news, but they definitely are.
Oof, look at that.
Yeah.
See, this is a nice little chart that I use. I'm on a 1 hour. I have a 1 hour chart. I have a 30-minute chart, a 15-minute, and then a 5. And
Can you show that? Can you show that Aussie on a daily chart or the RCS on a daily?
Yeah. Put it on daily.
Just to see what Charles was talking about. Because if you look, and part of that is sentiment too. You have a lot of traders who are going long the Aussie, and
it takes
most
a while
traders
to
are
propagate
wrong.
it all here.
Yeah, well, they're trying to get the turnaround.
Right. They're saying it can't go down.
But don't hunt the turnaround, guys. You just need a piece of the middle.
There's your picture.
So if you're on a daily chart, your dollar is the strongest, your Aussie is the weakest.
Glory.
And you can see, like right now, the euro is relatively strong, but if you look in the CAD, the CAD's weak. These are the 8 major currency pairs on 4 different time frames.
Can we throw the weekly up there just for a bigger term? I want to see if it's switched. How much that Aussie over the last week and a half has.
I think I hear your kids calling you.
Almost, yeah.
I was waiting.
Almost. Wow.
I was waiting for him to say something.
Al, squeeze the bottom. Squeeze the bottom, Al.
Push the bottom.
You are the ultimate disruptor, Brian.
Yeah. We haven't had a signal yet, so yes, I am the disruptor. You can see what he's talking about. In a weekly perspective, Aussie was strengthened, but on the daily over the last few days, it's turned.
And look where the dollar is now here on a weekly basis.
Right. So we're in a flip mode
we're just starting to flip.
Good observation, Charles.
Yeah. But you can see, like right now I'm going to go back to my normal 1 hour chart. I'll go to 3 hour chart, see where it is like on a 3 or 4 hour chart here. But you can see, like on all 3 of the, probably all 4 time frames, the dollar is going to be the strongest. So if we have anything that goes with today that pops up with a dollar pair, like an Aussie US or a Japanese US, you're probably going to be trading it to the strength of the dollar, not to the strength of the secondary pair. Now, if we have like a US New Zealand, we want to be trading that to the strength of the dollar. See, dollar strong, dollar strong, dollar strong, dollar strong. Now the British on the 30-minute on up, they're in the top 3. I like to look at the top 3, and I like to look at the bottom 3. And I try to ignore the pairs that are in the middle. So if I get an alert with the like the yen and the CAD, as long as I have like a 3-point spread between, so like right here, the yen is number 5, the CAD's number 2. As long as I have 3 points in between, that knows I've got a 3-point spread, then I'll be trading, then be more apt to trade it. If I get like a Swiss yen trade to call, or like a Swiss or a yen British, I may hold off that because there's not a lot of difference in the momentum or the strength between the two of them. They're kind of fighting for their place in the pack. So just a nice little tool that I have here to use.
Not a lot of alerts this morning, is there?
A little bit quiet, yeah.
It's been pretty quiet.
Pretty quiet today.
There's lots of movement yesterday, so especially Euro AUD. That thing's gone. Put it this way, that thing gone up like 200 pips straight without any retracement.
Wow.
Any significant retracement.
What's crazy about that, Matt, is if you just back up and look to the left, the same move down was happening.
Yep.
So
You're totally right.
Kind of going back to its long-term mean.
Mm-hmm. A lot of math involved here, guys, but it just happens. But yeah, there's very insignificant pullbacks on the Euro Aussie. Like, it's just, lack of a better description, looks kind of like a bat out of hell.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Yeah. I think we're going to see quite a few of that from certain pairs.
Yeah, it's like it's taken off and not looking back.
No, and I got bit by that one. I wasn't watching the trade, so I never saw that red zone show up or whatever was there, or the green zone at the bottom. Or
while we're waiting for a trade, let's take a look at that Euro Aussie. Let's just see if we can find out where this thing may get a bounce point. Here's the Euro. Now, MT4 is a program, a platform that almost every broker uses that has Forex available. If you really get into the technical trading, you may want to really think about getting a different platform. A lot of the indicators I use are specific to this TradingView platform. But if we go to let's go to the daily chart on this one.
See what I was talking about? Bigger picture.
This is the bigger picture. This is what it really looks like. Now, keep in mind, each one of these candles is a daily candle, and you can see where right now you see how I would be willing to bet you're going to get about somewhere around this 160 area, right up in here, right where this moving average is.
6150 would be your mean.
6150 would be
basically around your mean average over the last few months.
And you can see that here's a nice strong down move. You can see there's a very few base, a little bit blue candle pullback, drops down a little bit of a pullback, drops again a little bit of pullback, but now it's starting. It's changing direction. Well, when it changes direction, it's probably going to get a little bit of a bounce off of here. We'll go to a lower time frame to go to the 4-hour. So let's do this. Let's go back to our daily, and we're going to mark this where this price is. So I'm just going to mark this, and I'm going to look over here and see where this blue candle right here. We had a drop. It came back up, tested it. The blue candle on that day it came up, and then it started dropping again. So it took out all these other blue candles. So this is the next blue candle that we're looking at. So this would be a target zone. And also you see I've got a little red line here, which is an institutional level. I'm going to just mark that. And actually, let me just mark that with our normal trend line.
In my opinion, looking at this, yes, we're in a short-term uptrend, but until we break that 6,000 mark and stay above it, we're not officially in an uptrend. We're still in a downtrend.
Yeah, exactly. And you're going to get strong pullbacks in a downtrend. You'll get those strong pullbacks where it gets everybody thinking, oh, this is the bottom, and it comes back down and takes everybody back out again. So we got, well, let's see, where'd it go? Where'd my line go? Let's leave it right there. Okay, now I'm going to go to lower, I'll go to a 1 hour chart. Okay, so now we know that this level is, this is where that moving average was. I'm gonna lock this. And that was off the daily. So we know this is a daily level that the high of that one day, that blue candle day way back over here, was as high as it got. And if you scroll back over, you'll see, right, this is the point where it was. And that was right by that fib line. That was right by that institutional level. And it comes back down, forms a bottom. And just goes back and forth. Actually, as we scroll in, you can see that it's really for several days, it's maintained a range for several days. If I draw a box around here, you can see this was a low. This was a daily range high, come back over. So for 1, 2, 3 days, it was staying inside this range. Came back down, tested the bottom, broke out of the top, came back into the range. So this is a significant range right in here. You can see where it's going sideways. You can see it's actually trending here on the lower time frame, but it's really going sideways inside this range for several days. And now it broke out. This is where it broke out last night. And so it's heading on up to this point right up here. Come back over this side. That's why I say you have to look to the left of the chart and see where the biggest move down, where did it leave? This was the origin of this down move. And now it's just coming back to retest that origin. Now you have a higher down move here. This is the origin up here. So right now, if you look at, let me put it right, let's just put it right about here. That's a level there. I'll just make this something here. I'll just put it there. And we have another level. Up here. This is the origin of this move. This is how far it came back down, retested it, came back down, retested it. So this is a test point. This is a test point. So right in here, you can expect that the price could come up into this region and then reverse. It'd be reasonable to assume that. So this would be where the next target is. Here's a green line. This is an institutional level. Let's come over here and let me mark that green line and we'll see where that looks like. Because that's really where this thing's headed to right now. This is the next point.
And the question will be, will it consolidate there, form a wedge and continue up, or will it consolidate there, form a wedge and go back down to its original trend?
Yeah. Now you know that this is the next line that it's looking. The price is somewhere right in here somewhere. So you know that this was an origin, came back down, and the price is, where is the price right now? The price is probably right in here, I guess. So this area right in here, from where the current price is, I'm pretty sure this is where the current price is. I think that's where the line is. So this region right here is going to have to get through this little peak. It came back down, retested it, came back down, retested it. Well, we're already past this one. So this is the next area that's going to be looking at. And that's where these things, they come up and they back down, come back a bit down, they zigzag around until they break through certain levels. And you can see, look at that nice little doji. We have a nice little, I guess this would be a shooting star that would be called from a technical standpoint. This would be a shooting star. You have a nice little wick high. I would be expecting to start seeing this thing going sideways, drop back down, maybe retest this, come back up, retest that. And you'll get a little bit of a pattern that may look something like this. This is what I would project from up here, maybe come down. By the time it comes back down, that blue line may be right about in here, comes back up. This is the M that Nathan talks about in his videos. And then it comes back down, and then comes back and retests this. I'd be looking at a pattern, something like this. Comes up, got a little wick there, comes back down, finds a 50% retracement. So maybe like right about in, let's just maybe right about in here. Forms a lower high from the A, and then comes back down and retests this zone, which is where it broke through last night. That's it. And that's all I have to say about that. that's your technical lesson for the day.
That's good stuff. It's deep stuff.
If I lost anybody with that explanation, just keep on coming in. You'll get more of it, and eventually you'll start understanding it.
Just learn how to squeeze the bottom.
Squeezing the bottom.
Yeah, squish the bottom.
Squish the bottom. That's what it is.
Oh,
Squish
wow.
the bottom.
We're disintegrating here.
Let's see. Well, we have a U.S. We have a. This is the S&P index. Let's just take a look at it. We don't.
We have a
trade
NASDAQ.
this.
We have a silver. We have a gold. Holy cow!
So U.S. 500 is equivalent to the NASDAQ. Is that what you say?
U.S. 500 is the S&P 500.
That's the S&P 500. Okay.
Yes. So we're going to. We're not going to squish the bottom yet, but
Not yet.
We're going to squish the side. All right, looks like if I scroll out, zoom out, I'm seeing lots of red. We know it's in a downtrend right now. So we're going to go with the arrow. Arrow down. Here's our zone right here. We know that there's a zone right here. That's on a, we should be on a 5-minute chart with this right now. And now the question is, do we have a down arrow, downtrend? Do we have $5 is what the target is on this one. Here's the price was at 37.40.50, 37.40. Let's go right about there. And we have, what is that? $18?
About that, yeah. You're looking on the 15, right?
Yeah. See, 40 to 23. So that just rounded off. Let's say to 40. 42. So we're looking at 35 for a target. 37.23 is the zone. That would be a viable trade. That'd be a viable trade if you want to trade it.
This is not for beginners, though. If you're
not
familiar, don't do it.
Let me spread
That's
out.
got some room to it, guys.
It's got some real good. Let's take a look. Okay, let's take a look at this object list. We're going to go to open trade. We're going to take it, edit. We're going to go to what's that at 37.40.50. So we're going to 37.40.50. We're going to mark the entry on that. We're going to go for $5. So the target is going to be 37.35.50.
Oh yeah. Looks like a base drop, huh?
Yeah,
and you're forming a wedge.
Yeah, and I like the idea that if it can come down. Now, you may get a little bit of a bounce off of this area right here. We have a little bit of a trend line, but it is breaking. Yeah, I think I'm going to take this one.
Yeah, I just based on everything I see and whatnot, I'm of the opinion that I will take that.
I'm going to cut back my position on this. I'm going to go with like a 0.1 on this one. 0.10. And I'm going to sell it. And I'm going to come down here a second. This is the S&P. The S&P had a big drop. It retraced a little bit.
So when you do the S&P, are you doing a $5 target, $10 stop?
That's what I'm doing. Yep, I do a $5 target, $10 stop. So you have to position size that accordingly. So I'm going to change this now. I'm going to modify. And I'm going to be using not 400, but I'm going to be using 1,000, I believe is what it's going to be. And that's going to be, we got in at 40, so we're getting at, well, let's see where we got in at 43. So 37.53 should be the stop if we're using a $10 stop. Make this 53. And if we're using a $5 target, so I want to make this 500. That'd be $5.
Just slow that down just for a sec, because I'm not trading the that instrument very often, so I just want to make sure I don't mess that up. So you're saying 37.55?
Well, we got it. Well, it should be 55 would be the stop.
Yeah,
and then 35 should be the target.
Okay, and your lot size. So, for example, if I was running a $2,000 trading account, and I only wanted to risk like 0.5% because this is not comfortable. It's not this is new.
So here's my stop is up here to this zone where this origin was on this down move. This is a nice little drop. And now we just got an up arrow. So we just got an up arrow and it just crossed over. So we were in a downtrend. We did say it was in a downtrend.
Yep. I'm still fine taking that trade because of other indicators.
Yeah. Now, if I see this price come up and take out this high, then I'll get out of this trade. I'm not going to let it go the full 10 pips. Now, this is what Mo was saying is that we're on a 5-minute chart. She'll go to a 1-minute chart and see what it looks like on a 1-minute chart. And she sees that here's where our target is all the way down here, but there's also a green zone right here. So that's that could be a little bit of a problem.
Charles, that could be your broker, depending on what broker you are using. SP 500. They're using US, whatever you called it, US 500.
Yeah.
That NASDAQ? Is that NASDAQ or S&P?
S&P.
That's S&P. So a little bit different broker. So you may be on a different broker signal.
Yeah, I'm using SPX 500 on Envy.
But I'm going to be watching this. I'm going to be watching this level right in here. So this is nice, strong move down, came back up. This point right here is a test point. Now we're on a 1-minute chart, so keep that in mind. This zone was created. It's already been penetrated quite a bit. This is a bounce point coming up. Now, if it comes up and takes out and closes above this point right here, then I'll probably go ahead and reverse out of this thing. But I'll mark that. I'll go back to my 5-minute chart so I don't play head games with myself. But this is really this point, this green line, and there's a lot of pressure coming back down on 5. Now we did get this, and we also remember this was a bounce point. So the question is going to be, we have a little bit of a high here. We have a high here. So here's a hit. Here's a hit. But now we have this little angle, this slope down here. So right now it's kind of forming a little bit of a wedge. And we talk about that a little bit with the wedges. So here's your wedge. If it comes and so I have this wedge. So right now, if it comes and
breaks that trend line for that wedge,
breaks. If I get a close above this and breaks the wedge, I'll be out of this trade.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm looking at this as an area where we could probably get a little bit of a trap where it says, "Oh, it's coming on, it's reversing," and it could be reversing, but it did take out this low. So we had a high, it took out this low on this move. We have a trend line down below here.
And Charles, just so you know, on my MVFX, I did not get an arrow either, but I entered the trade based on what Al's showing, just because it's a demo account and I want to see what the SP. I'm not familiar with the S&P very much.
No, neither am I.
So I'm barely any position side. So,
hey, she moves fast though. Doesn't move like the Forex guys.
The S&P does not take prisoners, nor does gold.
No, it's brutal.
Oh, I like it.
Or glory. Yeah, brutal or glorious, depending on what side of the trade you're on.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, we're getting a big pop here, right? So
let's see how it's respecting this line and see how it's respecting the top of this candle right here.
Yep.
We got a Euro USD at just 4 minutes ago. For some reason, my alerts are lagging. So I'm looking at yours there, Al.
Okay.
The last alert I received was 10 minutes ago.
Oh, yeah, that's not good, right?
No,
I don't know if we're...
I think this one's going to get stopped out.
Yeah, it could very well get stopped out on this one.
Good thing you took a small position size. It does move fast, though. I mean, it does make its decision quick.
Yeah. Hold on. Let's see.
The fact it's so close to that, I'm just going to I'll let it take me out.
Yeah. And we're out.
No, we're out of it.
now an alert came through for a buy.
On what?
It came through for a buy on it, and it's going up, up, up.
Yeah. Like a firecracker.
Yep. But it has this big zone it's got to get through here.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the Euro US while we're here, since that one's already gone.
All right, guys, I've got to run and teach fourth grade. Y'all have a great trading day. We'll catch you guys in a couple of hours when I take a break.
All right. See you in a bit, Brian.
Make sure you continue to squeeze the bottom.
Squeeze the bottom.
Yeah, see you guys.
All right. The Euro US, we're going to take a look at that one.
Charles is saying no trade.
No trade. Was scrunched all the way in. There was down arrow. We have downtrend. But if we look and see, expand it out, you can see that we don't have any room to the downside. We have a nice big green zone. No trade.
So I was just on the phone with Dante there. He's traveling back for the event event that they're having, and so he won't be able to be on the call itself today, but we're gonna host it again.
Okay.
Another 4.5 hour marathon for us.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but we're gonna have I'm trying to invite the panelists and figure that out. Yeah, we'll get some stuff. Actually, I was told by Dante that Mr. Charles has quite an extensive history in trading.
Oh.
Yes. So I don't want to
bring him on over.
Bring him on over.
Yeah, he'll be. I think he'll bring some added value there. He's analytical like no one's business. So he can tell you how many demo trades he's taken, how many live trades he's taken, what currency pairs he's traded, everything.
He says he wouldn't go that far.
Well, listen, when someone like Dante says, "Hey, you know what? Put him on your panel," then
we'll put him on the panel.
Put him on the panel.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
No, let's bring him over now. It's Charles that's here? That's in the room now?
Yeah, it is.
Let's bring him on over.
Yeah. Let's do that. I don't have my
Oh, do I need to do that?
You're gonna have to do that, yeah.
Okay.
Ever since they changed. Well, no, I can log into the other account, but
there you go. I'll move him on over here. And I believe it's tell me, Charles. We only have one Charles here, right?
Yep.
I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
The right one. Okay, Charles, you're coming on over to join the crowd here.
Over to the dark side.
Yeah, we'll get into the dark side. Feel free to turn on your mic whenever you're ready, Charles.
Hey guys.
Hey, welcome.
Yep, thanks. Hey, just to verbalize it, I was a Series 7 stockbroker for about a decade, but that's back in the 1990s for the record. So for the
you're starting to reveal your age here a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. So for the last 20 years, I have not done much in the market. So I consider myself sort of a newbie with, good background, but I have, since Aero has been introduced, trading like a madman every day, lots of demo stuff. I've had a lot of success though with just strategy one, just following the rules in my live account, have done really well with it. It's very exciting, but let me just say, I'm happy to be a panelist and speak a little bit, but man, I'm learning so much just listening to you guys, and your analysis of trades it's just really phenomenal. I've been telling people about this. The value add of these calls is almost as important as the Aero program itself. So I want to thank you guys for, doing these calls and just the information I'm getting from you all is amazing.
Well, thank you for the endorsement. I appreciate that. It's nice to get some feedback. Sometimes I often wonder whether we're really getting overwhelming people or helping people or for making the difference. And it's nice to get that feedback for us. That's what helps keep us going.
Yep, absolutely. Really, really great stuff.
Well, we're glad to have you.
Appreciate that, Charles. Thank you.
Thanks. I get and just so you know, I go by the initial CB. I guess Charles is on my my Zoom login here. I go by like the radio, the initial CB.
CB, got it. CB, let's do it.
CB,
Breaker, buddy.
breaker,
CB.
breaker. Yeah,
breaker 10-4.
Got your 6.
All right.
Charles, have you done much of in your series? When you were a stockbroker, did you do much technical analysis, or was mostly just price points that you would be working with?
Yeah, more price. I mean, honestly, when back in the day, I mean, I did some trading. I was actually involved, both good, bad, and ugly during the internet bubble back in the 90s. For anyone that can go back that far, remember that stuff. But back then, you could almost just sort of throw a dart at a dartboard and pick an internet stock and make money with it, or lose a lot of money. But I was more heavily into estate planning, financial planning, utilizing more like, funds and not so much, individual stock analysis, to be honest. So
yeah.
You and Brian would get along very well.
Yeah,
Brian,
I need to talk to Brian about Gearbox, by the way, at some point. So,
we can talk to Matt and I. We're happy to share what we know about Gearbox.
We were both on the beta, and I'm still part of the testing group that debugs it. So
neat. Well, I mean, I know this isn't a Gearbox call, but while we're waiting, I've been sort of experimenting a little bit with Gearbox the last couple of weeks with I've kind of left the daily charts and been playing around with 4 hour. I might go to 1 hour next week, but the thing, the one thing I noticed, I know this is talked about in the community, as an example, this week, I'm Sniper H4 with all the charts, and I haven't had one trade hit. Is that sort of what you guys have been experiencing this week?
I'm running the Ghost Plus Real on a 4 hour chart, and we didn't have any trades most of yesterday, but last night I took a couple trades.
Okay.
So
I've been running the double take profit. Maybe that's the thing.
It's not going to affect the fact if you're going to take a trade or not. It actually just changes the take profit. So that's
interesting. Al, are you on the H4? Are you doing the daily chart, or
I'm on the H4?
Huh. It's interesting then, because again, if the take profit doesn't matter, which makes sense, right. I haven't seen a single trade come through.
Let me show you something that be aware that this happened to Brian and I both last night, and when we looked at our chart, let me just pull one up here. We looked at the chart. We're seeing that it says, weekly gold not reached, but it has something like on the status it says trading. There were several of the charts that we noticed that was saying trading, not trading, or trading not allowed. And it wasn't on all of them. It was just on, just kind of spotted. So what we ended up doing, we ended up Xing out of the chart. All the settings are still there. But then I would reload it. There's little icons off the VPS. Then just go ahead and reload it, and then they all came up working, so that we're all saying status trading.
Okay, so I'll take a look at that on my end.
Yeah, take a look at that. Just see if you have a bunch that are saying trading not allowed or not trading, and if it is, what I would just do is X out of it, go back to your VPS icon, and reopen the Gearbox and let it propagate again and see if it comes up with all of them. All of them should be saying trading or trading allowed or something like that. So keep an eye on that. That could be part of your problem.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
S&P made a higher high.
Yep,
it's just taken off up north.
Yeah.
And so right now, so
So what do we got? We got about 15 minutes left in this session, then I got to go launch the other one.
Okay, yeah. If you want to go and get, well, you probably can't. Well, you probably should. Here's a question for you, Matt. Should I launch the link that I'm going to try and launch. I'll see. I'm going to see if I can launch and get right into the panelists, or versus having to be pulled into the panelists. I'll see how that works. I've got a couple links to use.
I don't start the call until about 8:55 or 9. I don't take it out. Look at that move, man.
Can you start?
Yeah. We just had a couple of alerts as well, guys. The pound yen and the euro US.
Pound yen. Let's take a look at the pound yen. Pound yen.
S&P just blew up.
Pound yen.
Well, the US dollar must have just tanked or something, because gold too is just insane right now.
Dollar is lost a lot of ground over the last 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, you can see by the other.
Well, pound yen, here again, up arrow, uptrend, red zone, no trade. What was the other one?
The euro US.
Euro US. I think we already looked at that one. We already looked at that one, didn't we?
It's a new one that just came in.
Oh, okay.
1 minute ago, another new one.
Okay, euro US. We're gonna scroll out.
All right, I'm gonna pop out for a bit. I need to figure out who's coming on as a panelist. But
all right, we'll meet you over in Don. I think you probably can sign into Dante's room while we're still here, because I think it's a different link.
Yes, but I can't. I'm not going to start the call before you guys are all over. So,
all right. Well, we'll shut this down about 5 minutes before, and we'll move ourselves over then.
All right, then we'll see y'all there.
All right, Matt.
Okay, see you
Bye,
there,
guys.
Okay, so
here is the euro US. We have 3, 4. I'm scrolled out. So right now we have 4 red, 2 green. So we're in a downtrend, and we're going to move. But we have looks like, well, let's see what those. We got 2 arrows there together. Let's see what they are. We have a down arrow, an up arrow. So right now we have a little bit of a trend line here. It's still no trade right now. Let's see what the direction is doing here. Here's an anchor. Here's a hit. Here's another hit. We'll see if we can get a bounce off of that. We're in a downtrend, so with this one, we want to be looking at down arrow. We want to be looking at this zone right here as the down arrow. And if we can get a bounce off of that and the down arrow, let's see where we could be here. Let's see what the price of this is. Let's see what the zone is here. This whole zone. And when I do this, I just have the crosshairs. I left click and I drag down to my target area. And we're going to see that that's 16 pips. So either way, if we get a down arrow, we don't have enough room for. So this is not tradable right now. And we have a series. We have a downtrend there, and then we're going to mark the uptrend. We're actually forming a wedge right here. So here's our low. Let's see if there's another low. Here's a low. There's our. So here's the anchor. Here's the hit. We're inside. We have the wedge. Now it's trying to break out the top, but it's going to. This is. I would look at this area here as being a trap. It's really basically it's going sideways, and you really don't have the 20 pip range to be able to take the trade. So that's a no-go.
Judson is asking, how are you guys able to have so many charts on your arrow? I have 15 and my VPS is dying.
Have you updated your VPS? That'd be the next question. If you haven't upgraded the VPS and you haven't upgraded and rebooted it, that will cause a significant amount of problems for you. And what I would suggest. Let's see if I can get to that point here. Let me see if I can show you how to do that again. Move these down. If you get on the VPS and if you look here where it says Windows Update, click on that I go left click. And then this screen will pop up, and check and see when the date of your last update. If it's anything, especially if it's back in October, your VPS needs to be updated, just like your computer needs to be updated periodically with the Windows 10. The VPS needs updated as well. I would go through the update process. Just what you do is you can check for the updates. It takes a little while till they all come up to tell you what they are, how many updates you have. Then click on the install updates. Once that's all done, and it may take 30 minutes or more to do that, depending on how many updates you have. When you get done with the updates, hit the reboot, and then reload your software and see if that fixes the problem for you. We've had a lot of people that didn't know about this update on here, and it does cause problems. And so right now I'm running 25, well, not quite 25. I took the US pairs off the gearbox. I'll probably start putting the US pairs back on gearbox next week. But right now I'm running 5, 10, 15, about 19 pairs on gearbox, and I'm running another 30 pairs on Arrow. And this seems to be running okay. So I'm guessing it might be your VPS update.
He did do it over the weekend, he's saying. Actually, mine's really slow as well.
Yeah, I usually try to address that over the weekend when the market's closed. Is that way if I'm in any trades, it doesn't affect the trades, or I don't miss any trades because of it. So yeah, today's Thursday, so you only have one more day of, if you're not in any trades, then I say go ahead and just update it. But if you're in especially if you're in live trades, I would wait till the weekend.
Judson, he says my VPS is running like a 1976 Pinto.
Hopefully it's not the one with the exploding gas tank. My wife had one of those when I first met her. She had a Pinto, and then came out with this little what I call it. It's a recall, and they had to change the gas caps on because for some reason when they were getting rear-ended, the gas tank would explode.
I remember that.
Remember that? Yeah. So yeah, I never forgot that. Yeah, obviously, I never did. I still remember it today. So
hilarious.
Yeah, a lot of things have changed over the years. That's for sure. I can remember when $1,000 seemed like a lot of money, and it still seems like a lot of money to me. But when you think about what $1,000 buys today versus what $1,000 bought, 40 years ago, it's my wife was teaching school, and she was getting paid $6,000 a year to teach school. So compare that to what a teacher makes now.
Yeah, a little bit different.
And it probably doesn't buy, and it probably doesn't buy, what they're making now probably doesn't buy any more than it did back in the 1970s. While you're waiting, make sure you have your charts on a 15-minute. Every period I have to scan to make sure I've got 15-minute charts on everything, or else I won't get those alerts. If you're in here during the daytime, I'd put it on a 15-minute chart, and you can always, if you get an alert on the 1 hour chart, you're probably still going to want to go to a 15-minute chart to at least take a look and see what the direction of it is.
Holy slow, Batman.
Yeah, S&P is cranking away. Charles, are you still here? I have a question for you.
I am.
My question to you is, since you experienced the .com era as a stockbroker back in the 90s, How would you equate that to what we're hearing today with crypto? Because I can remember back in the 90s, they would say, "Oh, Google. Why would you buy Google? There's nothing to it. There's no revenue generated." And Facebook the same way. We say, "Not Google." So, I mean, would we not like to have had 1,000 share of Google stock that we bought back in the 90s? And they're saying the same. And I'm kind of equating my thinking with that as we are talking about with crypto. What's your take on that?
Yep. So when we look back to the end of was it 2017 or 2018 when Bitcoin exploded up to like 19,000?
Yeah, around 17. Yeah, it was around 17. Yeah, 17, 18. Right around there.
Yeah, right around Christmas time, I think 2017. I think that let's call it that bubble for crypto was very similar to all those internet stocks in the 90s where they didn't have. They're just the technical analysis of any of those stocks back in the 90s. I mean, they were worthless and they were just exploding because everyone wanted internet stocks. And I think that back at the end of 2017, similarly, you saw people just, catching the wave, getting in Bitcoin and explode. And then obviously the next year it dumped all the way down to, I think it was back down to $2,000 at one point there.
Yeah, I saw right around the 2,500, 3,000 area. Yeah, I remember.
So I would say that bubble, if you will, with Bitcoin specifically was very similar to the 90s. This time around, I think it's a little different, mainly just because you're seeing institutional buy-in to crypto this time around, and it seems to have a lot more legs to it with not only the Wall Street, but even like Mass Mutual Life Insurance, which is a very respected life insurance companies, has even taken positions in crypto and Bitcoin. So I think this time around it's a little different than what we saw in the 90s. Now, will we have some pullback? Could this go all the way back down to say 10,000 or something? From what I've seen and talking to some people that really know crypto, it's possible, but I think this time around it's a little more stable than that crazy time back at the end of 17.
Yeah, I agree with you entirely. When I would talk about this to some of my friends who have a lot of money invested in with mutual funds and stockbrokers and things, and I tell them about crypto, and I tell them about the blockchain, and they don't understand it, they don't hear it, they're afraid of it, and so they're not even the least bit interested, which is fine. But my thinking with this is that when you start getting brokerage firms, and a lot of the brokerage firms now, they don't even want to take wire transfers. They want you to transfer your funds via Bitcoin or some other cryptocurrency. And then when you start seeing the major banks starting to accept and trade Bitcoin, when you start seeing PayPal or Amazon, where they say we want to develop our own. I just think about if Amazon, and especially Amazon being a retail, they're into the retail market of, they're changing the way the world buys things. And I think if they can just create their own Bitcoin, and they have a huge, they'd have $500 billion a year probably is what they're doing in revenue. And if you can take that $500 billion and you can circumvent the credit card companies and people that are just using cryptos, they can save 2% just on the credit card fees that they'd have to give up with those purchases. So it's a huge amount of money for them, and they would have a huge following with the cryptos because of the volume of revenue that they do. If they have their own currency, and people say, well, if I can save 2% on and I just use the currency with the cryptos, it would make sense that they would go that route.
Right. Yeah. I don't know enough to speak intelligently about this, but I've heard people talking about crypto, specifically Bitcoin and maybe Ethereum right now, has begun to sort of even edge into the Forex market as far as, we talk about $6.6 trillion a day traded in Forex. Some of that slowly is starting to evolve over to crypto because crypto is becoming more and more accepted worldwide for, everything we're talking about. It'll be interesting over the next like decade just to watch how, currencies and crypto kind of mesh together, or, what kind of happens there, especially with all the craziness of this pandemic and the US dollar and what, obviously,
I think we're going to see heavy inflation, right, with all of this stimulus money going out, and it'll just be interesting to see what happens to the U.S. dollar as the worldwide currency versus potentially crypto and other directions, because even the Democratic Party is starting to talk crypto up more than what the Trump administration was doing.
Yeah,
so
you're
it'll be
looking
interesting.
at some interesting times. And on that note, thank you so much for that dialogue. We are at 2:00. Dante's room is probably open. I'm going to go and we're going to shut this down. Hopefully, if everybody in the room has a chance to continue this this training session or this live training with the Dante's room, we'll see you over in the other room. Until then,
see you over there.
We'll be back tomorrow. Everybody have a good day.